student. This is our third lecture on the topic An Astrologer's Day. In first lecture, we have seen icebreaker activity. In second lecture, we have seen the information about R.K. Narayan and explanation of first passage. Now see second passage. In third lecture, a surging crowd was always moving up and down this narrow road from morning till night. A variety of trades and occupations was represented all along its way. Medicine sellers, sellers of stolen hardware and junk, magicians, and above all, and auctioneer of cheap clothes who created enough din all day to attract the whole town. Next to him, in a vociferousness, came a vendor of fried groundnut who gives him his ware a fancy name each day, calling it Bombay ice cream one day and on the next Delhi almond, and on the third Raja's delicacy, and so on and so forth, and people flocked to him. A considerable portion of this crowd dallied before the astrologers too. The astrologers transacted his business by the light of a flare which cracked and smoked up above the groundnut heap nearby. Half the enchantment of the place was due to the fact that it did not have the benefit of municipal lighting. The place was lit up by shop lights. One or two had hissing gas lights, some had necked flares stuck on poles. Some were lit up by old cycle lamps, and one or two, like the astrologers, managed without lights of their own. It was a bewildering crisscross of light rays and moving shadows. This suited the astrologers very well, for the simple reason that he had not in the least intended to be an astrologer when he began life, and he knew no more of what was going to happen to others than he knew what was going to happen to himself next minute. He was as much a stranger to the stars as were his innocent customer. Yet he said things which pleased and astonished everyone, so that was more a matter of studies, practice, and shrewd guesswork. All the same, it was as much an honest man's labor as any other, and he deserved the wages he carried home at the end of a day. He had left his village without any previous thought or plan. If he had continued there, he would have carried on the work of his forefather, namely tilling the land, living, marrying, and ripening in his cornfield and ancestral home. But that was not to be. He had to leave homes without telling anyone, and he could not rest till he left it behind a couple of hundreds miles. To a villager, it is a great deal as if an ocean flowed between. He had a working analysis of mankind's troubles, marriage, money, and the tangles of human styles. Long practice had sharpened his perceptions. Within 5 minutes, he understood what was wrong. Okay, see the explanation line by line. A surging crowd was always moving up and down this narrow road from morning till night. That means the increasing crowd going or increasing on that road till night from the morning. A variety of trades and occupations were represented all along its way. When the crowd is increasing in that way, the times many trades and occupations representative there were the medicine sellers, sellers of stolen hardware and junk, magicians, and above all, an auctioneering of cheap clothes. Also there, who created enough din all day to attract the whole town. All these are traders or occupationers, they are attracting towards their occupations to the whole village. Next to him, in vociferousness, came a vendor of fried groundnut, who gave him wear a fancy name each day, calling it Bombay ice cream one day, and on the next Delhi almond, and on the third Raja's delicacy, and so on and so forth, and people flocked to him. All the traders or all the occupationaries, they are doing hard job, or they are marketing for their goods. uh, at that times there is coming one vendor who has selling the fried groundnut, and he has attracting his customers towards the fried groundnut. He every day changing for his groundnut, fried groundnut, the names. At the first day he is calling for Bombay ice cream, then next day he is calling Delhi almond for the fried groundnut, and on the third day he is calling for fried groundnut, Raja's delicacy. Like that, he is changing the name for fried groundnuts, and he is marketing so that people are attracting towards fried groundnuts, and they are taking these groundnuts of that vendor. A considerable portion of this crowd dallied before the astrologers too. In the same way, the crowd also gather around the astrologers. The astrologers transacted his business by the light of flares which cracked and smoked up above the groundnuts heap nearly. Half the enchantments of the place was due to the fact that it did not have the benefits of municipal lightning. There were no the municipal lightning. They have not got the for their occupations or for their trades. They have not got the municipal lightning. However, they have their own lightnings. That is, the place was lit up by the shop lights. There were the shops lights. Then one or two had hissing gas lights. Some have the gas lights, and some had necked flares stuck on poles. There were some bulbs on the poles. Some were lit up by older cycle lamps. Also, there were some cycle lamps, because they have not the benefits of the municipal lightning. And one or two, like the astrologers, managed without lightning of their own. And there are so many, one or two, that means another few persons or the occupationers or the traders there were, like the astrologers, they have not their own lights for working in the night or the selling their goods in the night. It was bewildering crisscross of light rays and moving shadows. Due to that lights, there is the cross of lights rays and there is the moving shadows. This suited the astrologers very well, and due to that light rays and the moving shadows, this is suited for the astrologers for the simple reason that he had not in the least intended to be an astrologer when he began life. He was already when he began his occupation as an astrologer. He has not the astrologer, and he knew no more of what was going to happen to others than he knew what was going to happen to himself next minutes. We know that the astrologers, they are predicting to others. They are uh, telling the others futures, but this astrologer has not know about himself, his future. He was as much a stranger to stars as were his innocent customers, yet he said things which pleased and astonished everyone. That this astrologer has not the knowledge about the stars or the solar system, and like the innocent customers, the customers has not the information about the stars, and also this astrologer has not the information about the stars. And however these astrologers gives the uh, predictions or tell the future of the peoples. That was more a matter of study. Also this astrologer has not the well prepared or well study about the star practice and shrewds guesswork. He has not the study information about the shrewd. That means good at judging people, clever, guesswork. All the same, it was as much as honest man's labor as any other, and he deserved the wages he carried home at the end of a day. When he came in the home, that times he uh, carried the money which he has counted at the end of the day. He had left his village without any previous thought or plan. He had continued there, he would have carried on the work of his forefathers, namely tilling the lands, living, marrying, and ripening in his cornfield and ancestral home. Uh, when he had started his occupations, before that he has left his village, and in the thought or the plan, if he had continued, if he had not left the school, then he would have to worked with his forefathers, uh, that's namely tilling the lands, forefathers works like namely tilling the lands, living and marrying, and ripening in his cornfield and ancestral homes. Like that these works, if that astrologer has not left this village, then this astrologer has to do that works which his forefather has done. But that was not to be. He had to leave home without telling anyone, and he could not rest till he left it behind. A couple of 100 miles to a villagers it is a great deal, as if an ocean flowed between. And he has not thought about that things, and however he has left the village, and he has not rest till the left the behind 100 miles, a couple of 100 miles. He could not stop there, or could not rest in any place, because there is the ocean flowed between their village. He had a working analysis of mankind's troubles, marriage, money, and the tangles of human ties. Long practice had sharpened his perceptions.